All right, Houston, we have a problem. We know we're going to have some of these issues, and we don't know exactly how they happened or whatever, because usually you know when they happen, because you, like if you're cutting something apart and the whole thing kind of moves. Like if you guys watched the video back, a few videos, when we cut away the part in the back. Let's go look at it. We were cutting this away, and all of a sudden this thing popped a little bit. I know VW bus guy said it moved an inch. You know, no, it moved about 1/4 of an inch. And we knew because this thing was bent. Let's look at the underneath. Yeah, there was an issue, right? So that was causing this to be sprung. We had to try and straighten it out the best we can. Of course, we didn't get this really very straight. Not a real big deal if it isn't. But we wanted to make sure that this was positioned in the right place, which we did do fix that. So we know the frame from the torsion housing to the horseshoe is correct. Or at least as correct as it needs to be, because that's only going to change the angle of the suspension slightly or something like that. And we've already done all those things. We have to actually, when we did this, we actually did this to the correct degree and all that stuff. There's a setting for all that. Well, of course, when we put it up on the lift, we did notice that, see if you notice, it looks like if you see that post over there, I don't know if that's even level, but it looks like it's leaning forward. Part of that is the weight is heavier in the front than in the rear. That's why we have it chained to the lift, because we knew that there may be a problem there. But we also know that it's a little bit more possibly than it could be. Now, when we cut the front off, it did not move. And we had it, remember, we had it connected to a support rail that was underneath. Now, before I got the bus, was it, you know, when they put the rail in, was it straight? Probably not. Those are all the things that when I sat down and I was kind of go over a few videos back, I was kind of going over some of the issues that would probably come up later. And this is one that we are feeling like is going to be an issue that we need to correct. So we're going to leave this stuff kind of exposed. Like we're going to have to maybe cut a little pie cut out of here and then jack this up and then straighten it. We're trying to figure out exactly how to do that right now. Because, you know, we want to make sure that it's not one side more than the other, so it doesn't go like that or like this, right? And we want it to go straight up. So we think that's going to be an issue. We don't know how much of one yet, because we got to have sheet metal. And then, you know, there's little things like this thing here is welded on just a little bit crooked. It's leaning that way. You know, just little things like that. Where if it was on a bus, it wouldn't matter. But when you got to put like these things on, they're supposed to be against the firewall. If that thing's crooked, then they're going to be out. So we have to grind them to make them straight. But we don't want to make them straight to something that's crooked. So those are all things that we know we're going to run into. So you want to stay to your seats and keep watching this stuff. That stuff's going to come up later. We're not going to try and fix it now. Now is not the time to fix it. Some people go, oh my God, no, now's the time to fix it. Well, we don't know exactly how far off it is. So even if we use the square and all that stuff to try and figure it out, it's not going to tell us exactly until we actually put these on. That's one of the reasons I bought these already. These are the bed top pieces. So what we can do is we can actually mock it up, put those on, and then see exactly how far off it's going to be. That was sort of the plan that I had. Sort of. Could change. I don't know. You know, is what's wrong, what isn't wrong? I have to figure all those things out. As long as our track is right, what I keep on telling everybody, from right to left, if our track from the front to the rear on each side is the same, so the vehicle doesn't get on the road crooked, the rest is all just, You know, it could be just a little bit twisted. It's not gonna know. We'll kind of get a good idea of that once we get some more pieces on. We got to get that back part on. So we'll be doing that a little bit later. I don't know if it'll be in this video. I don't think so, but stay tuned for that. We'll keep rolling. So again, I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but I want to make sure everybody knows that when we took this section of frame off, there was no movement. Everything stayed exactly in place. Even when we measured our track, front to rear, nothing moved. We checked it before we welded it in. So we did not see, you know, like the cab go chunk like this when we did it. So either this was something that was there already, or it could be we also jacked it up right now and we noticed there's a little bit of flexing going on, but not much. No, I don't think there's much with the frame. The frame, remember again, this is a faux frame. It's not a full frame. On these, it's kind of there for assembly. And it could have moved, you know, a little bit in that same area. That seems to me like it would be the weak point of it. But we'll figure that out later. We'll have to stay tuned for it. Talk to you in the next portion. All right, well, how about that? The mystery rocker, there's the one that was underneath. So I cut this one off. Look here. Here's the one I cut off. And this piece, whatever homemade garbage that is. I don't know, maybe it is, or looks like it's got that primer on it. Maybe they just bought a new one and just stuck it over the old. But anyway, that's weird. So it's actually got, wait a minute, what the heck? This one went, let's look at this in a second. All right, you single cab experts, this is weird. So I see here on the old area, it looks like this right here is where the door was, right? And then it had this piece, which looks like it's got original primer on it, was over that one. So is there supposed to be a double spacer here? Like, was this here? And then did they add this because this was an SO model, or was this normal? That I'm gonna have to look into. That's interesting because this is an extra space, and I remember I looked online and I didn't see this part available. I saw that one. So, that's interesting. So this piece here was, it looks like it was riveted on though, so it's kind of freaking me out a little bit. I'm gonna figure this out. It's got an original hole in it. Could have been just replaced. Anyway, We'll have to check that out, because that looks like the original rocker right there, and then it would have had rubber right here, and the treasure chest door would have been right next to, closer up to the front. This one had this piece in, and the treasure chest door was further back. Something to look into. Anybody know? I'll check it out a little bit, and if I find something, I'll get back to you guys on that. Well, this is interesting. I'm almost thinking that this post right here would interfere with the regular door, where the normal single cab would have it. So they put that spacer in. Now, did it have a smaller treasure chest door, or did they move the quarter forward? I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this part out. This is interesting. Love to see comments on that one. I still gotta straighten this edge, but I guess I could do that real quick, right? Got a hammer. That's a little better. Just gotta go around that, straighten it out. I've gotta I just tacked that in place because I probably will need to peel it up to work on this little repair section. Again, I would just remove the dog legs for the hell of it since I was right here. Well, this one guy I used to work for, while you're resting, could you fix this? No. That was a while you're resting thing, so yeah. Anyway, I'll get on with it. With a big hole here and a little hole there, everywhere a hole. Oh man, I'm telling you. If old McDonald had a truck, this would be it. But instead, it's Mike effing Garage. I don't even know why you call it effing. I effing hate this thing. I effing hate building metal. So if I can only figure out who stole my hammer. Wait a minute. I'm the only one working here today. There it is. It was right in the ground right in front of me. I'm making the funnest part right now. I've only been on this for several hours. I have this thing to make here. I don't know if you guys can even see in there. Maybe not. How about if I move you over here? These holes. So, oh my God. Oh man, it's another. So I gotta cut it right here and bend it again. This hole is, I'll show you in a second here. Be patient with me. We're having a fun day today. Lots of effing work today. Yeah. I just feel like walking all the way to the vendor. So I brought one out to work with me. Here we go. That one goes there. Oh man. I guess I need to cut off this end. Let's see if you guys can even see it. Hopefully you can. moving quickly here. There. Yikes. So I need to bend right. I could show the whole thing on this one, guys. It's just one right there and right there. So I got to just slit cut it. These are from Harbor Freight, if you're wondering. They actually work pretty good. I think they're set, they say for 18 gauge, but fat chance for that. I don't think they'd work. Ooh, that's a little close. Yeah, all these compound bends and then let's take a look at it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. While I'm singing Old MacDonald Had a Rust Hole. And no, I'm just kidding. So this goes into that. Then there was a hole back in here, and then there was a hole in here, and there was a hole in here, and I opened it all up, and then there's a hole along here. I've already made that piece. Let's see, got that one. Yes, I'm gonna repair this. A lot of people go, oh, why don't you just put a whole new floor in? It's like, okay, you know, or just do the repair section to the outside. The repair section for the outside goes up to about right here. So I'd be short, you know, for these repairs. It doesn't quite, I think it goes to about right in. It gets the, let's see, it gets the brake pedal, but not, I mean the clutch pedal, but not the brake pedal and not the steering. So it would do part of this, it wouldn't do the whole thing. And the repair section, you know, whether 60 bucks or something like that. Get you guys back a little bit so you can see. So there was all these holes here. There's one under here. Still got to fix that hole. But there's one. There was one on this side that went up into this section, which is different than on the other side of that wall. It only goes to right here, and then they all crimped together on here, and then it rested into the floor right here. So that's what I'm complaining about. Anybody get this one yet? See, go in here. Oh wait, can you see that? Yeah. And then I got to make another bend on the other side of that line. So about right. Right. Oh, it's still, it goes like that, doesn't it? Kind of goes at an angle, wider here, narrower there, I think. Yeah, I think so. We'll guess. Yeah. Duckbill pliers, Harbor Freight. Now, that's kind of close. A little crappy. I'm gonna rebend it. Yeah, let me get that. I need two hands and a lot more room. Well, I think I got it pretty close. How's that look? You guys can see better than me. I gotta tighten this part up right here so that all weld together. I'll just tighten that up a little bit. Maybe bend that out a little bit more. Yep, we'll come back into it. Let's just cut a hole in here. I feel like cutting something. No, it's going to be all slaggy. What do you think? Don't cut yourself on that. I keep telling myself. That's Everett's favorite thing to do from the Samba. Everett bars. Don't cut yourself on that. Yikes. Wow, that's a first. Keep cutting. Try and find some good metal. Kind of. There's your goggles on. Gotta make sure you got those on, boys. Got smacked in the face. That was nice. Oh man. Probably gonna have to put a piece of plate on here so I can put this thing on. Because there's no metal left for that. That's why I'm cutting way up, trying to get something. I'll just weld up those holes and not worry about that. It feels like this is pretty solid right here. So, man, this is ugly behind here, boy. Look at that mess. Well, it's sort of like welding inside a shoebox right here. Kind of crawl inside a shoebox and weld. It's a pain in the butt. Anyway, I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. I guess that doesn't look half bad for welding backwards inside a shoebox. I guess. Still gonna handle this, but we'll get back to that in a little bit here. All right, I thought you guys might like to see this here. This is the original. Okay, the original color they made these was the gray, right? And then, from what I can gather, I don't know everything about these. We're right now we've contacted, I think it's called Ruthman, and this is called a Steiger, is what the name they call it in German. It's actually like a slang name, because bucket truck doesn't really translate. Funny thing, you go Google Translate and it Schuffelwagen is what it says, and that's not right. And Schuffelwagen is basically shovel wagon, and that's not what it is. So, but it doesn't translate correctly. And so, anyway, from my friend of the German, he told me it's called a Steiger, and that's what they call them. It's kind of a slang name because it's, I guess the guy who made these was Wolfgang Steiger, and then Steiger means to lift up or something like that. So, kind of interesting. But anyway, so on the Steiger, we got they come this regular gray, and then I think what they do is they ship it to Ruthman, and they put this orange on it. They paint it this orange because everything comes gray, even the lift, everything was gray on it, and then they paint it the orange, or somebody, whoever they send it to, paints it the orange. And I can tell that this is a really good orange paint that they use because of how it sands. It's like maybe an old lead base. And all the other layers of it, which there was tons, I mean, I don't know how many different paint jobs. This has been stripped, so there was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 paint jobs underneath that one. So it was like, I don't know how many layers of, almost looks different color orange, obviously. But you could see here, under here, it's still kind of shiny. So they just went through and scuffed it down, and they did a quickie paint job on it when they put this orange on. But they did use good paint. So I don't know exactly how that was done. A lot of people say, well, I should paint it back to gray, but the city who had it, or the county, or wherever it was used, it was orange. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go to the orange because that's what most of them are. And then we're going to paint everything on the inside of it like it was originally the gray. So we're getting that matched right now. Tamco's working on that. And she's got me the orange coming. So we'll see how that goes. All right, but I thought I'd share that with you, that this is kind of cool that they didn't even see the scuff on there. He didn't sand that really very good. But again, this is the paint and how it was done. All right, well, we got most of this nightmare done. We still got to do a little bit more with the getting the brake line distance done. And then we're going to get ready and cut up front. I was going to do that in this video, but there's just no way. It's just too many clips. We're going to cut it up front, finish that up. Let's take a look at some more stuff. Yeah, we got to bring this cab back. Kind of figuring out how it happened because the bottom rail, that frame rail, when we jacked it up, apparently it must have splayed. I know that the back went down, but I didn't realize the front went forward because actually the top part of the cab actually sagged down. So I don't know why it would have went forward, but maybe it was just the way that they welded it on there. It sprung it forward somehow. So we couldn't see that at the point when we put it together. We were just trying to, we really needed to get it up here. And like I said, we knew we were gonna have a problem on that frame. So, because there's just no way I can get the whole thing right when we had, you know, within one shot. We're just not going to happen when you have that much frame damage. So, we got this little hole welded up. All this stuff here is all done. Yeah, pretty much. I just got to do a little more touch up, some grinding, clean up stuff. And I got to make this piece here still. I just got tired of working in that hole, so I started working on this one for a while. So anyway, but that's it for now. Come back for the next one. We'll see how we got this thing straightened out. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how we do that, but it really isn't a big deal. The hardest part is trying to make the right and the left the same, you know, because when we do it this time, we're gonna have to bring the cab upward, and then when we do that, it's going to be almost impossible. We couldn't do it on the other frame rail because when it had the temporary there, you'd have this thing fighting. So we didn't even really look at it that close because we knew that we couldn't do it. We had to get it to where that temporary frame was removed, and then we can work on it from there and try and straighten it out from there. So we got some jacks. We wanted to have the back done so we could put some jacks underneath the back. And so we're going to get that all cleaned up and finish up all that. And then we'll put this on here in the next video and get that cab straightened up. Really not that hard to do, but we can do it. I'll talk to you in the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe.